Hi, this is Greg Johnson with resourcesforlife.com, and this is a brief video about life journaling and life timelines. And so basically the benefit of life journaling is self-awareness, and it's a way to kind of measure where you're at, where you're going, and be more proactive if you have certain financial goals or health goals, that type of thing. And in other ways, it's just it's a I guess long tradition. Many people are familiar with the idea of having a journal or a diary of some kind. But I want to just share some thoughts on having different kinds of technology used for life journaling and life timelines. Well, the first concept or idea is to use an Excel spreadsheet, or if you're an Apple computer user, you might be using the Numbers program from Apple. And if you can imagine, you'd use the spreadsheet going down. Each row represents a point in time, and then each column heading would represent a certain aspect of your life. And so you can have columns for where you're living, where you're working, people who are in your life, who your friends are, what relationships you're in, and then just going across whatever is of interest to you, maybe what books you're reading, what technology you're currently using. It's sort of fun to go back and remember and reconsider, what technology you were using at a certain time and when these changes were taking place, going from, let's say, LPs to CDs and so forth. So that's the first idea, is just to create a spreadsheet and fill it in with all of this different information. And then the second idea is, for the day-to-day, instead of having a traditional kind of diary or journal, consider having a few different log books where you can keep track of, for example, I have a log book that I use to keep track of calories. I'll write those down in one log book. And then there's a separate log book that I use for just general health items. So, if I'm feeling low energy or high energy, or having an injury of some kind as a result of a workout, I'll go ahead and document that, and it helps me to track back, is there a certain food that I'm having a reaction to, if it seems to be kind of an allergic reaction to something, or is there a pattern, like every time I go to eat at a certain restaurant I have let's say I feel really low energy or whatever, things like that. You become more self-aware through having a kind of a health and wellness journal. And then finally, as someone who enjoys writing, I have a journal that I put down writing ideas in. So for you it may be music, it could be pottery, it could be whatever, but there would be kind of your creative thoughts journal. And I find it's helpful to keep these as 3 separate journals. In the past I've used books, actual books with blank pages in them, and writing ideas down and keeping track of things that way. But now I use the iPhone and have separate notepad entries for these. And there are other methods I use for kind of categorizing or keeping track of things in my life. I've been using a calendaring system, which is iCal, comes with the Apple computer. And a typical way to use that, of course, is to have posted in there future events, but I also use it for current and past events, so I can, looking forward in iCal, I can see what my future schedule plans are, but by looking at the past week or the past month, I can quickly get an idea of where my time went as well. So it's a time budgeting and time tracking system in that way. So those are the basic categories I've been keeping track of: time management and tracking, and of course finances. I'm using the Neat Receipts system, so I have a paper receipt that gets scanned for every transaction basically, and then it categorizes those by what financial category it is. But basically, planning ahead for finances as well as looking back, seeing where the money went. With time, planning ahead. With iCal, as well as looking back and seeing where the time went. With calories, as I mentioned, keeping a calorie journal. But these are just a few ideas life journaling and the life timeline. So I think I hope you'll find that interesting, and if you have any ideas along these lines, feel free to email me or send a video and let me know. Thanks.